What's going on, everybody? And we are logging on to episode 126 of the podcast. We got a very special episode for you guys today. A spotlight interview, actually. We haven't done one in a little bit, but we are here tonight with a very special guest, a friend of mine from high school, Trevor West from West Properties.
What's going on, guys? Hello. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here as well. Yeah. We've been planning this for a minute, too.
It's probably been like a year.
It has been a year.
I was like, damn.
That's what it is with me. Like, I get so excited to, like, get new guests on and everything. Yeah. So I'm, like, asking people right away. And sometimes the date are, like, a year away or something like that, you know?
I don't help. So I'll take half the credit if I don't help. You know, we push it off a couple months because of me, too.
Oh, no, that's okay. You know, shit happens, man. Yeah, exactly. But, yes, Trevor is a part of West Properties, his own business, right? Correct?
Yeah, it's a DBA. I'm a realtor by trade, but I brand myself as West Properties.
Beautiful. And I just want to say, extremely proud of you. I think you've been doing great. And as far as social media presence and everything like that of that nature, okay, you're good. It didn't move. But it's awesome what you do, man. And that's why I'm having you on here. And I got a bunch of questions for you as far as how you started, where you are now, and things of that nature. So
I appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be here. It's an honor. You know, when you reach out, I shouldn't say people like I'm some big star, but when you reach out, it's like, oh, wow, like, sure, I got something to share. Yeah, I'd love to come on. I haven't seen you in years. Like, let's talk.
That's the other beautiful thing, too, bro. Yeah. I love having people on the podcast that I haven't seen in a very long time. Like, I haven't seen you since high school, probably.
Yeah. I mean, we played, what was it, Little League? We were probably elementary, middle school. I think your dad was my coach.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And my grandfather. I definitely swam in your pool. We had a pool party after the season here.
Yes, that's right.
I'm like, I know where you live, but that's my little special talent. I can remember weird things from 10, 15 years ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you want to just get right into it?
Let's roll.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to ask you was, let me just get the right notes up. What got you interested in real estate as a whole? What made you realize this was something that was like, oh, this is cool. This is something I want to learn more about.
It's funny. Now, I was just away in Salt Lake the past week, and it's funny, somebody actually told me real estate breeds the most millionaires. It's the industry that breeds the most millionaires, and truthfully, I always wanted to be rich.
There you go.
But that's not why I got into it. I didn't know that then, but now, psychologically, now looking back, I'm like, hey, maybe that was why, because I saw all the fancy cars, the flashy houses.
Yes, right.
But, dude, we can go back. When I was 10 years old, we would like just drive. I'd always look out the window. Mom and dad are driving, and I'm just staring at houses. I liked architecture, I guess you could say.
Sure.
You know, like the structure of a home just appealed to me. And then as we got older, Fixer Upper came on. Now it's like really the enticing thing to me was to take something that's shitty and then make it pretty again.
Yes.
Bring it back to life.
Without a doubt.
That's really what drove me into real estate. So that was a roundabout answer. That's what brought me there, because I said, hey, I want to make some money.
Yeah.
I want to flip some houses. I think it will be fun. I was driving a truck right out of high school. I went and got my CDL. I was driving a truck. I said, I'll save up some money. I'm going to buy a flip. So since I was about 18 years old, I've been talking about it. And as of last year, it took me about 9 years, but I am now flipping homes. That's one of the major things I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So wow, since 18 you were saving up for the first flip, right? Correct?
Yeah, in theory, yes. I was saving up for my first investment. I didn't know what that would look like. So I remember the guy I was working for, he was a mentor of mine. He was my boss, but a mentor. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to buy a house. And he had some property, so he would tell me, he's like, hey, 10% down, 20% down. I would go in, I'd be like, show him Zillow, in the morning before we started working. I'm like, yo, look at this. Let's go look at this. I just started driving properties. I just started reaching out. I'm probably the annoying buyer that was bugging the realtor, that was never really going to purchase. Now, now they're repaying me by having, people come waste my time. But I was just learning. I was just failing forward.
Love that phrase right there. Yeah,
life has its way about it. Life's going to take you on its journey. So at 18, that was the big goal. By 21, I probably got really serious to get there. And I was probably there about 23-ish. And instead of buying my first investment property, I actually moved out, bought my first house, and we were getting ready to have my daughter Riley.
Which congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
We chose to buy our own house first, which I don't want to say it delayed things and make that sound like a negative, but life had me focused elsewhere. So it was getting ready to have a kid, become a dad, make sure, we could take care of the child and the child. That sounds funny.
The child, yeah.
But
Mandalorian, this is the way.
Be the man of the house, right? Care for my girlfriend at the time, who's now my fiance. We're getting married this year.
Congratulations on that as well.
So that delayed me about 4 years, just to distracted cars, or whatever. Just I got derailed. But the last 2 years, I've been dead set on it. And about, like I said, 6 months ago, we started doing it, living my dream.
When was West Properties established? Was it those 2 years ago, would you say?
Legally, about 3 weeks ago. I've been branding myself that way for probably a year and a half now. So
awesome. Okay.
I told you I was driving a truck.
Yeah.
That was right out of high school. I did that for about 8 years. But about 5 years ago, I got my license, my real estate license, while I was transitioning out of that. So I've been full-time 2.5, 3 years almost as a realtor.
Okay.
More time for my family, more money, more freedom.
For sure, man. Yeah.
That
is the dream right there, too.
I'm living my dream, dude. That's the truth. We could always want more, but
of course.
I'm cool with where I'm at today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So talk to me more a little bit about flipping the houses in the beginning and everything like that. What kind of experience was that like? What would you say was the most important thing you learned from flipping houses?
So have good partners.
Good partners. Like good investing partners, correct?
Yeah, like a good team around you, right? Mm-hmm. Brian Flynn, who we went to high school with, I'll shout him out on here. Mm-hmm. He actually was the contractor on the first flip. So I found this deal. I really had no idea how I was going to do it or who I was going to do it with.
Yeah.
But I found the deal. I started, it's a funny story, actually. It's in my neighborhood I live in now. This abandoned house. There was like wives' tales. The neighbors would tell me that someone lived there, but there was never lights on. So I'm there like 2 years. I'm like, I haven't seen anybody. This is weird. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, there's this dude there, this Jeep I've never seen, this black Jeep, and a landscape crew cutting the grass. And I literally, I tell the story. My daughter was with me. She's like 1.5 years old. I basically slammed on the brakes and drove up on this dude's front lawn. He probably thought he was getting robbed or something. Yeah. And he's like, "Who the hell are you?" I'm like, "Who the hell are you?" I'm like, "Did you buy the house?" He goes, "No, I own it." I said, "Well, I want to buy it." That's a real nugget for anybody listening or watching is just put yourself out there. So I had talked, hey, the whole neighborhood knew that this house was abandoned, this wives' tale, and then one day somebody's out there. And I just took action. I didn't even think.
Right.
As quick as I could blink, I was stopped and talking to the guy. His name was Doug. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Doug, I'm not bullshitting you. You're going to watch me make a left, and 5 doors down, you're going to see my truck pull into my driveway. I'm your neighbor. I have my daughter in the car. I didn't intend to run into you today.
Right.
I want to buy your house. So here's my business card. Ignore the realtor shit. Don't acknowledge any of that. Mm-hmm. I give you this. It has my full name, and it has my cell phone number. When you're ready to sell, I would love the opportunity." So the hardest part is finding the deal, right? Sure. So I was just out finding, or looking, I should say. I wasn't really finding. I was kind of hitting dead ends, and then bam, find this guy Doug, right? Mm-hmm. So he tells me, "Hey, I'm not ready now. I got some stuff to clean up, but when I'm ready, I'll call you." And I'm like, "I'm going to buy that house. I'm going to buy that house, dude." I started speaking it into existence.
Yeah,
I have friends,
manifesting.
It's real, dude.
It is real.
We'll tell another story about that later, but it's real. So I'm telling my fiance, I'm telling my buddy who lives around the corner from me, I'm like, "You know that shitty blue house? I'm going to buy that house." He's like, yeah. And it wasn't like they're not negative, right? They're not naysayers. It's just, they're like, "How the hell are you going to do that?" I'm like, "I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've been dreaming this for 10 years.
Right.
I'm going to do it." So fast forward 6 months from the day I met him, he called me. My phone rings. And it was a lost cause. I was Googling his name or trying to cross-reference, the address to find out who owned it. Well, I knew his name was Doug. I knew the address of the house.
Right.
Dead end after dead end. I'm like, this guy's never going to call me. I'm waiting for the day that, someone else puts a dumpster in the ground, and someone else bought the house. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, about 6 months later, my phone rings. It's a Friday night, 7 o'clock. And I'm like, "Hey, hello, who's this?" He's like, it's Doug. I'm like, Doug. He's like, Doug from up the street. I told you I'd call you when I was ready. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, here I am, like, cheering in the background, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, when do you want to come see it? I'm like, I live here. Like, I could walk there right now. He's like, well, I'm up north. I'm an hour away. Meet me tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So in the midst of that 6-month period, I started to put feelers out. Who could I do this project with? And ironically, Brian slapped up an Instagram story. Like, I'm looking for deals.
Aha.
I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Here's my guy.
Yes.
So we created a partnership, and he executed on it. He did all the work. I give him all the credit in the world. You need the guy with the deals. So he wouldn't have a deal unless he had me, but he did all the work. I mean, he busted his ass. They did an awesome job. And he had a private money lender. So it was like, let's go walk this. Let's go underwrite it. Let's negotiate and purchase this thing.
Yeah.
We ended up selling it. It took a little longer than we wanted, but a huge success. So my first flip, his first flip, we made over 6 figures.
That's
the project
amazing.
did.
Yeah,
so
right.
The project did like 112,000, truthfully.
Okay.
And then you divvy it up, however we chose to divvy it up on the back end.
Yes.
But they made money.
Yeah, right.
We made money, I should say.
Right.
And it was awesome. So that's how my first one went. It was just thinking and speaking it into fruition.
Yeah.
And then finding the right people. That's really what I learned, is have a good team around you, right? Brian made me look really good because he's awesome at construction. I'm not awesome at construction. But I'll tell you what, I'm good at finding the deal. I'm good at making people like me.
Right.
Or building a relationship. It's
Yes.
not like a forced thing. It's not fake.
Right.
But I can build the relationship where not everyone can do that. Or they don't have the patience, Like
True.
Someone will just, kind of punch you in the face, and then you're like, hey, screw you, get lost.
Right.
And they don't want to do a deal with you.
Yeah.
So,
wow. And you're working with Brian still right now, right? As far as he's on the construction end.
If we find deals,
you
he's
find
still
deals,
an option. I actually have my next deal. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
Okay.
Truthfully.
Gotcha.
But he's there. Yeah, he's an awesome contractor, and
good connect.
Really, what I joke, I say I was born. The birth of the Real T West, right? That's my Instagram name. You can go find me. Right. Way before I got into real estate, so there's no Real T pun there. But I am the Real T West. I will stand up. I joke the day we started that flip was the day I was born. Between the marketing, the videos, like all the social media stuff you see now, that I don't think it necessarily gets me at this table tonight, but it puts me in rooms and gives me validity in places. We've known each other prior to this, but now all of a sudden that's my walking portfolio. That's my walking resume.
Yes.
That I get to show to people. So
it's a face to all social media and whatnot about what you're all about.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I had a friend of mine who's also in the industry and also flips houses out in Utah. Mm-hmm. He's like, my Instagram's my business card.
There you go.
Oh, you want to learn more about me? Just shoot me a DM.
Right.
He picks up a follow, so he grows his reach.
Yeah.
And then he's able to connect with those people and go a little bit deeper. But then instantly when they go on there, it's not like, hey, I got your phone number saved in my phone now. It's, hey, wow, look, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. All of a sudden there's the virtual relationship. He feels, the person on the other end feels like they know you already.
Right.
So it is the face. That is you want to know about me, go on my Instagram.
Without a doubt. And I think it's so smart, too. And we were talking about it a little bit before, too.
Yeah.
A lot of people with businesses, big or small, should be doing this.
Every business.
Every business.
I come from the blue-collar world. I would challenge those hard-headed guys that they should do it, too. They won't listen yet, but they should.
So, yeah, the social media presence is incredible. And I only say that because it's part of the reason why I invited you on the podcast here yourself. Just because you are, it makes you look established, and knowing what you're talking about and this, that, the other thing. It's that presence that I think really, besides knowing you for back in the day too, they got you here as well as, too.
It makes you verified. So not blue check verified. We could pay for that now, $15 a month.
Right.
You could pretend to be verified. But, it makes you verified. You want to, what's the word? Like when people want to look at you, go stalk me, go find out what I'm about.
Right.
hey, there it is. Like, I'm not a fraud. My stories, I probably put up 6 stories today. You could see where I was a couple days ago. I shared a memory.
Yeah.
Where I was last night on the beach with my daughter. This morning, out doing something in the truck and inviting everyone to where I'm going tomorrow to my lunch. So, it's all there instantly. It's not like, hey, you're hanging out with me virtually.
Right,
you're
right.
like, wow, I feel like I'm there.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like I know this guy, I know everything about him. And it's cool. It's cool, man. Social media is powerful.
It is powerful. I think it's a great, great tool for all businesses, and even not just businesses, like this podcast and everything like that
100%.
Too. Great to just reach out to people that you have no idea who they are.
How many doors would you have to knock? How many phone calls would you have to make? How many mailers would you have to send? Or, any old school, how many, hours would you have to spend sitting in the car dealership hoping that people walk in?
Right.
I make a post, I get 260 people on my stories.
Yeah.
I make a reel, 1,700 people at a minimum. A good
those
one.
are great, by the way. The reels, the shorts, the TikToks and everything. A great way to what's the word I'm looking for now? Not exposing like a good way of your business and everything.
I get to pitch myself it's a sales pitch every time you go on there.
Right.
So I posted a reel yesterday, 1,700 views, 1,700 pitches I just did.
Exactly.
And I got to do it from the comfort of my home, or I went and shot the content 2 days prior, but now I'm doing it on my schedule, on a scheduled program of dripping it out and letting people, like I said, know what I'm about.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask this question about the flipping too. How many properties have you flipped until you were like, all right, well, actually, first explain this. A realtor.
Yeah.
Give me the definition of a realtor first, please.
Someone who's a salesman or saleswoman who's gonna help you buy or sell your home.
Okay. Now,
traditional residential. I mean, we can dabble in commercial and do leases and rents, but as cookie cutter as I would put it, is just traditional buy and sells, or tenant leases. Basic stuff. You want to buy your first house, you're gonna call a realtor.
Right. Exactly. Now, that is what you're doing now.
That's technically, that's my job title. That's the industry I'm in.
Right. So before that, you were doing the flips and everything like that, which I guess you could still incorporate as the same thing, no?
It was actually the opposite. So I've been a realtor for 5 years.
Oh,
buying and selling homes, helping some friends that we went to high school with their first house.
Yeah.
Matt Papa, shout out.
Hell
He's
yeah.
one. There's a ton more. Chris Lowndes. Remember Chris Lowndes?
Yeah, you know what? He actually shouted you out on Instagram too.
Yeah,
I saw that post. Yes.
He did a proposal. So this is when I started to get into the whole social, not to bring it back there.
Yeah. It's fine.
He proposed to Melissa at the closing.
That's incredible. Yes.
And
now
I
I'm
recorded
remembering
it. Selfishly, I recorded it. I helped him plan the whole thing. Or I played a big role. I shouldn't say I helped him do the whole thing. But,
Right.
He was like, hey, I have this idea. And I just helped him fine-tune that idea.
Awesome.
But so I help people like that. I've helped my grandma. I've helped my mother-in-law. You name it. You know, all referral based. There's a lot of my business is 98% referral. So,
gotcha.
I think I did 32 deals last year, and one of them was a complete stranger.
Okay.
So,
wow.
So I can connect. You're a friend of a friend, or there's a way I can find a way to connect to you.
Absolutely. So wow, that actually surprised me that it was the opposite, basically, as far as went to the flipping, I guess, right?
I guess I skipped that part. I actually went and got my real estate license. I was just going to use that as the side hustle, as the vehicle to make a little bit more cash.
Sure.
I'm making 60, 70 grand driving a truck. Okay, I'll go make 20 or 30 grand here, and I can buy my investment properties. Mm-hmm. Well, we ended up having our daughter. That's what derailed things, like I said earlier.
Right.
But yeah, so I had my license. I realized I like people. Like driving a truck all day alone, I was becoming a waste. It was wasted talent. I needed to get out and do more. So now I can get in front of people. I don't want to say I'm a people pleaser, but I like interacting with people. Like that's exhausting for some people to
For sure.
deal with other humans out in the world. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, I want to go home. I don't want to deal with you.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas I'll deal with you as long as it takes. You know, I had one client, they became good friends of mine now. We looked for probably 15 months till we closed on their house.
Wow.
For a majority of different reasons, but
Sure.
like, I don't give up, right?
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
it for the person, for the relationship, for you. Like, I'm here to do a job. When my job is over, I'll go home. If you didn't get a house, I'm not going home.
And
You know?
and you wouldn't be satisfied either with
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Okay, awesome.
So then, to kind of answer your question for you, now I'm a realtor, right? I'm doing it full time now.
Yeah.
Well, now I eat, sleep, breathe this.
Yeah.
Looking for property, calling owners, stalking the MLS. You know, this is what I do. Mm-hmm. Now it becomes very easy to find investments when you're not driving a truck, you're not, doing construction, all these other outside influences. Sure. Now, this is my job.
Right.
So ironically, selfishly, I get to cherry pick a deal I want.
Yeah.
Or look for myself while I'm looking. Oh, Frank wants to buy a house. Okay, cool. Well, while I'm looking for Frank, all of a sudden, oh, this is a good investment. So Frank might not really want it, but hey, I'm going to put this on the side and I'm going to underwrite this and look to see if this makes sense to pursue.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I got my neighbor's house. Just driving around. You're just looking at homes. Like I said, I would just drive around. You're looking at houses. There's a lot of houses. I don't know the population numbers, but there's a lot of homes. Like, there's a lot of business.
Let me ask you this. Are you do you have your work based just in Jersey, or did you venture out to other states?
I'm only licensed in New Jersey.
You're only licensed in Jersey.
So
Gotcha.
My realtor hat is stuck here in New Jersey, predominantly Monmouth, Ocean, Middlesex, and Mercer County.
Gotcha.
Just because it keeps me like 45 minutes to an hour from home.
Sure. Smart.
I'll travel outside those confines. It just depends on what it's for or who it's for.
Yeah.
I'd be honest with anybody. Hey, I'm not best suited for the job. I can't service you guys properly.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend up here. Call so-and-so.
Right.
Call so-and-so. Oh, you're going down south? Call so-and-so. But when you put your investor hat on, we can go anywhere.
Right.
With social media, I've learned this world is a lot smaller than we think. So I have some people I would call close friends today out in Utah, down in North Carolina, up in Buffalo, New York, down in Fort Worth, Texas. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That are all in the same industry or doing similar things. So my buddy JD, I just connected with him in person this weekend in Utah, but he's down in Fort Worth, Texas, absolutely crushing it. If that's where the opportunity is, I could send my money down there to work for me.
Sure.
I can get on a plane and go work. Do I want to? I don't necessarily.
Maybe not necessarily.
I don't want to, but there's the option. So yeah, you can go anywhere, man.
And that's also the beauty of when you work really hard in the beginning. So like you mentioned before, the freedom to pick and choose and what you're going to invest in and everything like that. Yeah. Nothing comes without hard work to get where people are at nowadays.
I got some receding hairline. I got a little bald spot back here. I'm working hard and I'm stressed. I'm not gonna lie, but it is my dream.
But it also pays off too. It also pays off. Yeah. Okay. What else do I have? Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention also, when it comes to flipping and the construction of it, do you have a lot to say as far as what's going to go where, maybe a counter, what kind of counter it's going to be, like countertop and whatnot, even when it comes to chairs and a table for furniture or couches and whatnot. How is that process for you?
I would say that I'm the visionary.
You are the visionary.
Yeah, I'm the visionary. So as the guy with the deal, I'm the first one to see it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the contractor's coming to me, hey, I got this deal. It's not like an investor's coming to me, hey, I got this. So I'm the first one to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm envisioning it from day one. Although I'm going to quickly reference the numbers and make sure it makes sense.
Right.
But I'm saying, hey, we can add a bath here. We can do this here. We can do that. And I'm not a designer by any means. But
right.
I am envisioning what it could be.
Sure.
And then you rely on experts.
Yeah.
So we have a great kitchen guy, Steve O'Brien and Mike O'Brien.
Yeah, that Steve O'Brien sounds.
They're Howell kids,
familiar.
but they went to Township, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, our grade.
I think one was older, or no, they might be a year younger than us.
Okay, yeah, they sound familiar, but yeah,
Awesome guys.
Yeah.
Like He came in, the flip we did with Flynn. He came in. It was like, hey, man, we want to do this. We took out this wall. We did all this work. This is where the kitchen's going to be. And then you let the expert run.
Right.
So he says, hey, you should do cabinets here, lay it out like this. Don't put the sink here, put the sink there. Don't put the oven here, put it there. Tuck the fridge in the corner. And you let the expert, I can have the macro picture. I can have the big idea of, hey, I want this open. I want an island.
Yes.
I want it to feel like this.
Yeah.
Then you let the expert come in and say, hey, this is how we do that.
Right.
Even with a contractor. I want this wall gone. He might say, hey, that's not possible. Or it's going to cost you $20,000.
Yeah,
is that in your budget?
Right, right.
So, yes, I have the vision for what it could be. I think that's the fun.
That definitely is the fun. Yeah, it sounds like it anyway.
This thing looks like crap today, and I'm going to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
It's yellow today. I'm going to make it green. Like all of that. I'll do that stuff. But like I said, I'm not a designer. I'm learning though. You learn as you go. I've only done 2 houses. I'm on to my third, but I've helped probably a dozen people with their investment properties. So as you start helping people with their first time home buyers get their first house, then all of a sudden I started marketing to investors. I started getting, around like-minded people.
Yeah.
Now I'd help them buy their houses. I'd watch them do their renovations. I'd see what they're doing. I'm learning like osmosis. I'm learning.
And getting more ideas too, like
100%.
Yeah.
So then personally, I've done 2 deals. I'm on to my third one. But I've lived vicariously through over a dozen deals.
Right.
Hey, that doesn't work. This does. Use my tile guy. This is where you go to get the granite. Tell him you know so-and-so, That's why I say you have a good team of experts around you.
Without a doubt.
It takes a village.
Well, right. And the other thing I want to say, too, is, at the end of the day, it's your call at the end of the day, especially if you're the one investing. Like, I look at it in media terms. Like, as the producer, you get the final say of what you want in that final cut or not.
If I structure it that way. So
if you structure it that way.
I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth here, but this next deal, that's how I structured it.
That is.
I'm the boss.
Right.
Previous deals I've done, it's more of a partnership, and hey, I think we should do this, or hey, I think we should do that,
Yeah.
I've learned my value and I've learned my place. Now I'll run in my lane and I'm the boss. It'll funnel down under me.
Gotcha. How important is it to have connections? How many connections, especially in a business like this? I mean, that was like one of the first things you brought up as far as one of the biggest things you learned was to have a reliable group of partners or investors or whatnot. Could you explain to the people like how important a connection is, even if it's just one, in any sort of business or anything of that nature?
So I think loyalty is important.
Yeah.
So there's 2 sides to it. I would say all the connections. You should have all the connections in the world.
Yeah.
The more hands you shake, the more money you make, Ooh,
love that. Yeah.
There's all sorts of, coined phrases like that. But have a good, loyal team around you. So maybe 1 of 2 of each niche that you can rely on. Hey, you're busy? Okay, cool. I'm going to go to so-and-so. Or maybe the job's too big and they're working together anyway. But relationships is everything, man. I just put it on my story. I did a reel about it like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the business of relationships. Yes, I'm in real estate. Yes, I'm a realtor. Yes, I'm an investor. But I'm in the business, of relationships. So the more people I know, the more hands I shake, the more people that I build real relationships with, add value. That in turn will pay you more dividends than you would ever go get, being transactional. So to answer your question, all the relationships, all the connections.
Yes.
And real ones.
I agree.
Not
real,
like, hey,
absolutely.
I threw you a DM on Instagram. Like, I think I've gotten very good, and maybe it's just a little natural gift I have. Like, I can make a connection. Like, I might have met your uncle, and he's a stranger, but we get to talking. Hey, I'm from Freehold. Oh, yeah. My brother lives there. I got nephews there. Oh, what's their name? When they graduate? Oh, I know Frank. And now all of a sudden we're friends. Like,
right.
I joke. I said, you're all my friends or my family. Like, when we do business together, you become my family. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and, I take things personally. So this isn't, just a deal for me. This isn't just a paycheck,
Right.
It's real relationships.
And I love that you said it's not just a paycheck, because those real relationships will produce more paychecks in the future too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also have been seeing on your Instagram too, as far as in like investor meetings and meetups and maybe even Q&As and things of that nature. What got you started doing that? Is that something you run yourself, or you also partner up with other people as well to do those sort of events?
I've kind of spearheaded it.
You did? Okay.
I've learned from my good friend Red Suit Realtor. He's been doing these meetups for about a year.
Okay.
He's kind of mastered it. He's got it down to like a science.
Yeah.
And my good friend Ryan Robbins was having an entrepreneur event here in New Jersey, a big like business summit.
Yeah.
And Scott, the Red Suit Realtor, came in for it. He said, "Let's do a lunch. I'll show you how I do it." So he gave me, the reins. He showed me what he does.
Yeah.
And then I've spearheaded it since. But what I've learned is collaboration is another superpower. So I did one alone last month. I'll spearhead it. I'll always do it.
Yeah.
But I'll go tag team it with somebody. So tomorrow, or last week, depending on when this airs and when we post it.
Monday.
Yeah. So this Thursday, I have an investor meetup with Mike Scalfani. He's another realtor here. He's actually in Freehold, is where his business is based.
Okay.
Absolutely crushes it. But we all have different strengths and different strong suits that we can speak to. We're both like-minded. We're going to come together. We have 60 people coming to hang out with us tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Network, learn a thing or two, meet a person or two. Who knows? We might even do a deal right at the lunch table.
Sure. Yeah, right. You never know. For someone that's interested to coming to one of these things, what would you tell them what to expect?
I'd expect to get uncomfortable.
Start getting comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite sayings too.
I'm going to make you uncomfortable, and I'm a lover. I'm not going to do it maliciously.
Right.
But one of the big things that I'm a proponent of is connection. So I'm going to make you introduce yourself in front of a room full of strangers.
Gotcha.
I've been put in those rooms. Every time I get uncomfortable or feel like I don't belong somewhere is when I grow.
Yes.
So now in turn, as the host, when you come into my room, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing.
Gotcha.
So, hey, I'm Trevor. This is what I'm about. This is what I do. This is why I'm here. Very short, 10 seconds.
Right.
We'll go around the room like tomorrow with 50 people. It might take us an hour to do that.
Right.
Now the entire room feels like they're connected.
Sure,
I know everybody in that room now. Out of 60 people, I might know 35 of them. There's 20-something people that I just met. Now I know what they do. I know what they're about. Now we break. We go do a little networking session after, and instantly the deals are made. I mean, in the print business, I had 2 people connect who I know both of them. I never even thought that they would do business together.
Right.
When they both, got uncomfortable and stood up and shared what they do. Next thing you know, when we broke, hey, they're over there doing deals.
Wow.
Making money together.
Yes.
At a real estate investors meetup in a print shop. It had nothing to do with real estate.
Wow.
So that's what I've learned. That's what you can expect, is to get uncomfortable and to start to make those real connections.
How long would they usually last? Like, say it is a group of like 50 people.
You figure I'd expect to be there for an hour and a half.
And where do you usually host them? Because I saw you did one at, I believe it was a brewery, right? One of them?
Anchor Tavern.
Anchor Tavern,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So I look for a private room. I just told you I want to make everyone uncomfortable,
Right.
but I also want them to feel comfortable, like, hey, this is our space, right? These 4 walls are ours. We're not surrounded by a bunch of strangers eating dinner. You're welcome here. This is, we're going to break bread at our table. You're welcome here. But for this month, we're going to the Corchester.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to come right here in the heart of Freehold and eat some wings,
There you go.
Maybe grab a beer or two.
Yeah.
And loosen people up and, kind of pay homage to my hometown,
Yeah, sure.
I still come here all the time, but it's cool to come back and then, promote it here. I would love to see you or anyone come out. Anyone's welcome. So if you want to get into real estate, if you're in real estate, if you're an investor, if you're a contractor, so plumber, electrician, Luke, you do carpets and flooring, you should be there.
Yeah.
I'll promise to make a ton of connections for you. Attorneys, title companies, anything that revolves around really a home, you should be here. And then if you have interest in getting homes or, investing in homes or buying your first home, come hang out. There's going to be a room full of experts.
Right.
Guarantee it.
So say I wanted to come because maybe I just wanted to come to learn a little bit about real estate and everything like that. Yeah. And then you have me introduce myself as like, hey, I do videographer work on the side and everything like that too.
I would challenge you to not promote yourself like that, but yeah.
What? You would challenge me not to promote myself?
I would say it better, man. Come on.
I would just say it as the basis of it. You're right. Okay, so how about I would say something like this? I would be like...
I would probably introduce you truthfully. So part of you coming into my room and me knowing you, when it came to be your turn going around the room, I'd probably say, Frank, you want to stand up? Tell us about what you do. Guys, I've known Frank for a very long time. Frank is awesome in the video editing space and the producing space and all things. I'm probably botching it a little bit, but I want to promote him more than he would promote himself. That edifies you. Now, you have my blessing. I just verified you.
Absolutely.
Now, there's 59 other people in that room that are like, I need an editor. I need social media. Right. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that?
Right.
Oh, you have a podcast? What's it about?
Yes.
So, you're going to be your own worst critic. I'm my own worst critic. I'm becoming a lot more confident as the days go by. But you're going to say, hey, I kind of got this side hustle. I kind of do this video thing.
It won't necessarily fly, I guess, sort of deal.
It could fly, but I would just challenge you, maybe this isn't so little. Maybe this isn't just a side hustle.
True. You're
right. It's the life is the stories we tell ourselves.
Very true. Yeah, I love that.
So, I mean that with love. So I would introduce you, and I would challenge you right now. Just say it better.
Okay.
But that's what you would expect is to introduce yourself. I cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. I think I definitely want to come to one of these things. And you're saying the next one is at the Court Jester at next week?
So Thursday the 25th, which is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Noon to 2 o'clock.
Noon to 2 o'clock. Okay.
I would plan to be there. Show up. If you guys follow me on Instagram, there's a meetup link in there.
Yeah.
So you could always stay up to date on the app for when the next one's coming.
Mm-hmm.
RSVP. Get on my newsletter so you know when it's coming. All different. I have different digital infrastructure to capture the people and tell them what we're doing and where we're doing it. But it's something for now. I'm doing once a month. I think it's growing legs so quick it's probably going to go to twice a month, every other week.
Do you see a lot of the same people come back, or is it always different people?
I'd say it's 50-50.
Yeah.
You get some repeat customers, which is good. You're starting to build a culture, and you want people to come back. Sorry. One and done. Seltzer's getting me.
Yeah.
But, you don't want people to just be one and done. You want to provide value and real connection and make people come back, week after week or, month after month.
Without a doubt. All right, I'll see if I can make it tomorrow because earlier in the day, we'll see what happens. I'll definitely be hitting you up.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it. I'll bounce. I'll probably go back and forth. So we're going to go to Belmore. We'll come to Freehold. I'll bounce, to the shore and back.
Yeah.
To just kind of try and broaden the horizon, but keep it here local to Monmouth County. If anyone's listening, and I'll stop with my pitch for it after this, but it's about real connection, right? So the East Coast, I've been saying it, we're kill or be killed. When I got out in the country and went and saw people from Utah, and there's this abundance mindset and, help thy neighbor and all these different principles that they, fundamentally have grown up with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I want to bring that back here.
Right.
So this isn't about me. I'll get out front and lead. I'll get out front and host it.
Yeah.
But this is about everyone else here.
Right. And it's besides food and drinks and whatnot, completely free to go.
Yeah, free to go.
Free to go. Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. All right. Let me see what else I got for you because I want. Oh, okay. This is an interesting one here for you. In the next 5 years, maybe even 10 years, what would you see one of your ultimate goals that you would like to have succeeded already in the next 5 to 10 years? For West Properties, for maybe a different venture you would want to do. What do you think?
5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Think about you were bringing up manifesting and everything. What have you been speaking into existence as of late as far as business?
I'll have my dream home, which is probably a nice modern farmhouse on 3 to 5 acres.
Yeah.
Local here, the Monmouth County area.
Okay.
I don't want to
You want to stay over by here?
I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I got family. You know, my fiance's got family.
Yeah.
So that's something. That's a personal goal.
Yeah.
But I want to help people with this. So with West Properties, I want to help everyone become an investor. I want to help everyone flip a home or really just live their truth, right? So those might be things I want. I want to get to a place where I'm free enough financially and my time and all that stuff where I can come give back to you. Where it's like, hey, I've found true freedom. I've found my passion. How do I go help other people do that? Through real estate, I think is where I'll make that niche.
Yeah.
You know, I would probably also like to own 5 years. I'd like to own 5 properties. Go one a year.
Yeah.
And then watch it start to compound.
Right.
Now that's that passive flow that I'm teaching and preaching, and you know, I can flip a couple, make a couple bucks, but I want to start to hold these things and really create generational wealth.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. What would you say is not maybe a common mistake, but you don't have to delve too deep into it if you don't want to, but a mistake that you might have made in your process of learning through real estate, which might have been your biggest lesson?
Biggest mistake, it's kind of funny. It wasn't actually that, or you can't see how detrimental it was or wasn't. It was just to not truly believe that I was capable. So I didn't necessarily make a mistake that cost me a lot of money or cost me I lost opportunity through not believing in myself, but I can't quantify that. I can't put a dollar figure to that.
Right.
But that would be the biggest mistake, is to just not believe in yourself or think that things are possible, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I can make $100,000 a year. Like, that's good. Or like, oh, but I could never make $1 million. And now I start talking and I get around certain people.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And we're still young.
Very true.
I'll be 28 in July.
I'll be 28 in December.
It's very possible to be a millionaire by 30, you know, if you set your mind to it.
Wow. Yeah. You're right. It really is all about the mindset.
It's 100%.
All about the mindset. Even if you aren't speaking into existence, you could have the most positive mindset as far as where you see yourself in the future. And you could get there. Through that belief.
So through the belief, and then you just start taking action, right?
Correct.
Learning. Right. I didn't go to college.
Mm.
I go pay coaches and mentors and people all over the country to learn their niche and learn what they're best at to help me grow now. I would have done that 5 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And there's some people I watch, some people that I know I went to high school with or middle school with, just people that we grew up with who they got started a little earlier. It's like, damn, like, I wish I was doing that. Like, so you see it now, but you'll get there. That would be the biggest mistake, is just thinking you're not worth it.
I love that. And it's also not a race when you start comparing yourselves to other people.
There's
as well.
no comparison, man.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm living my truth. I'm living my dream.
Yeah.
The comparison is a standard I set for myself. You know, it's not like, hey, that person has a Lamborghini. I want that. You know, like,
right.
I don't envy that person. I'm happy for that person. That looks like someone that's happy as shit. That's what they want.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe I just want to go on a couple vacations.
Sure.
You know, like, live your truth. That's what I would want to help people learn.
That's awesome. Is that something you prominently say and preach at these investor meetings and everything like that?
I think it's a new thought.
It's a new thought. I love it. I love it.
We aired it here. It kind of came to fruition. No, but it is true. You know,
it is. Yeah.
My mentors, they've been challenging me to get out front, to lead more, to share the value that I do have. Right.
Yeah.
People. I learned it's called imposter syndrome.
I think I've heard about that.
So before. Imposter syndrome is like the feeling of walking into a room or a place and feeling like you don't belong. You're not qualified to be here, right? Oh, Frank makes more money than me. I should just shut up and listen, you know? Oh, this person does this. I'm just, you know, that's not me, you know? So it's always disqualifying yourself, essentially, or feeling that you don't, you know, you're not of value. So I've been working through that. And in working through that for myself, I learned, hey, real estate was the vehicle that helps me overcome that. That's what helps, you know, provide income and stability for my family and for myself.
Right.
And then it's mindset. It's the work over here. So, like I said, this is my college. I'm going back to the books or back to the Zooms or back to the meetings and going deep on this stuff to change your mindset. Yeah. And then what action steps go into place to get there. So it's going to keep growing. We'll grow this investor meetup. We'll host an event one day. Get 250 to 500 people in the room.
Oh, that would be sick.
Talk growth, talk mindset, talk real estate, obviously, because I think, like I said earlier, it's the number one vehicle to create millionaires. So if you want financial freedom, we should probably be talking.
Yeah.
But we could also talk mindset and growth and how to get there.
What do you think about like the market nowadays with the climate that it's in and constantly changing and everything like that? This was another curious question I had for you as far as where do you see it in maybe by the end of this year going into the next year?
I don't have the crystal ball. We don't have our tinfoil hats on here.
Right.
For us here, so I'm going to niche it down to Monmouth and Ocean County, which is my local market, which is where we live.
Yeah.
There is such an inventory shortage. So in layman's terms, this is supply and demand. We are down, I want to say year over year is like over 35% down in inventory in Monmouth County. And I think it's upwards of 40 and change in Ocean County.
Really?
With that said, I explained that to tell you, I don't think the market's going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
The Fed hiked rates. They doubled them from this time last year. Home prices haven't dropped. There was a small stalemate where people were nervous, people thinking something's going to happen. And I'm not an economist.
Right.
I do think we're in a recession, and I do think that something's got to give at some point.
Right.
I truly do not believe it's the real estate market right now. Not today. And I'm not saying that in a year, like 6 months from now, I don't know. I don't think it looks too different.
Right.
We might start to see a shift that way.
Yeah.
But it might take a year or two to truly feel that and see the effects of it.
Yeah.
Inflation's not going anywhere, right?
Right.
They're trying. They're raising interest rates, trying to fight inflation. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. If someone was looking to or been thinking about buying a home, would you tell them now is the time, dude?
I would say the time is always now. It's when you're ready, right? So fully understanding someone's situation, motivation, needs.
Yeah.
Like, is this a want or a need?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Do you need to get out of your situation? Are you moving to town? You know, real estate's, people are always going to buy and sell. You know, they're always going to be moving. There's some sort of motivation there.
Yeah.
Fully understanding that and fully understanding somebody's financial situation.
Sure. A lot of different variables.
Really, I think the cost of waiting is much higher.
Sure.
The example I'll give, a year ago, people are like, the market's going to crash. Don't buy. Home prices are so high. Prices are so high. Well, guess what? A year later, home prices haven't dropped. They haven't moved, and rates have doubled. Go look at what your payment was in May of 22, and go look at what your payment would be in 23. So we can play the waiting game. People would tell me I shouldn't have just bought my next flip. Am I going to wait? People would have told me I shouldn't have bought the last flip that I told you we made over 6 figures on.
Right.
So I think, you got to make educated decisions. But
without a doubt, depending on your situation and your circumstances.
If you can afford it, I think rent in Monmouth County or rent in Freehold specifically is like, for a 2-bedroom is like $2,700, $2,800.
Sure.
You could probably get a mortgage for $2,900 on a house that is similar in size, probably a little bigger with your own yard or something of that nature. So I don't know. Should you go? You tell me. It's a numbers game and understanding what you want and need.
Yeah. And I agree with a lot of people that say this. They're like, I'm not going to rent. I'm going to wait till I could buy my own place. I think that's one of the smartest things ever.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the smartest things ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand if you needed to be out of somewhere like immediately and whatnot and needed a place to stay, but I think you're really just throwing away money, like in a sense too, if you're also trying to save up for your own place.
Totally throwing it away.
Yeah.
The home is an appreciating asset, and there's other people out here that are going to tell you otherwise and tell you to rent and save your money and do this and only buy investment properties, but for the average person, like, that's the American dream, is to go get a home.
Of course, yeah.
And you need a roof over your head, right? We need somewhere to live. So I'd rather pay down my equity than pay down my landlord's equity.
Sure. Absolutely.
Personally. Now, I'm also going to become a landlord. Why? Because I don't think everyone thinks like me. or not everybody can afford to be, to have that privilege.
Right.
So there's a culmination of both, but for a majority of people, learn what they want and need, look at their financial situation and say, hey, here's your options. Right. I'm not going to pull somebody's arm and tell them to sign the documents.
Right.
But
yeah.
I would lead the horse to water and then let it choose if they want to drink or not.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Well, Trevor, I think that was most of everything I had. Actually, one last thing. Sorry. Your logo. Love the logo for West Properties.
Thank you.
Especially because the last name is West, and it's a house, and then outside of the house is the compass, basically. I think it's incredible. You want to give a shout out to who made that?
So that's Kenny Lake from Motive Design with a Z. I believe it's in there.
Gotcha.
DEZINGIGN or ING. I don't know how to spell.
I think it's an incredible design for it. I thought it was so clever too.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I give him all the credit in the world. What I'll tell anyone, if we go back to the branding and social media and marketing and that whole conversation, I dreamt of this for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I dreamt of this for 10 years.
The logo.
I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Okay.
So I don't want people to think like, hey, I've had this in my vision for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I probably thought it was going to be like a construction company.
Mm-hmm.
But my name was going to be on the side of buildings, on a for sale sign, on the side of a truck. Like, I was going somewhere. Right. So I had this vision, and I wanted this to be like a badge that you could put on a truck, like an old like hot rod, like surf truck, kind of like that would be on the door from like the 60s or the 70s. So that was really always my vision for it. Kenny completely understands and executes on what someone portrays to him. Like, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Right.
This was all him. It actually started as a circle, and then my fiance Dami, she actually said, hey, your name's a direction. We kind of live by the beach. You should probably add the compass points.
Yeah.
And then when we put the points on it, I'm like, that's it. We're done.
Right.
But I appreciate it. Thank you for complimenting it.
Yeah.
I have people that compliment me all the time. I just like to give that little nugget of like, I didn't just roll out of bed today and decide, hey, I want to make a cool logo. Like, I'm actually not that creative.
Gotcha.
So I had the vision for something. It wasn't always West Properties. I didn't know what it was going to be. I ran with a couple different names, but this just felt the most prominent and like broad.
Yeah.
So West Properties Management, West Properties Snow Removal, West Properties Construction Division,
right.
You name it. I'll run down all other lanes with it. This will be the parent company and the brand of it.
Of course,
but
yeah.
we can funnel it in under other categories.
Absolutely. You give yourself that availability for it.
Yeah, exactly.
What were some other names you were working with, if you don't mind me asking?
I think I had like the Realty Properties because my name,
Properties.
like, Realty, real estate.
Yeah.
It was my Instagram name from like freshman year. There's no like correlation to it.
Right.
I think T West Properties. I don't know. I quickly narrowed it down to like those. I was gonna keep it sweet. So,
like short and sweet almost. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you made the right choice.
Some people challenge like, oh, don't put your name in it. I think my name is broad enough.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, my name is broad enough. Like, people proudly would wear my logo. Work for me.
Yeah,
things of that nature. As I go on, I know certain names it doesn't work for.
Sure.
Like I said, I'm not that creative, so I had to use my name.
Trevor, I want to thank you so much for joining the podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's so great to see you as well. And I want to, if I'm not making it tomorrow, you got to let me know, or I'll just see through your posts and whatnot.
You'll see it.
The next investors meeting and whatnot, and I would love to be there and check out what it's all about. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
I just appreciate the opportunity,
I'm
not sure who your viewers are or what they are, but it's cool to reconnect with, an old buddy, and anybody watching, I'd love to help you or connect with you, maybe shed some light. I'm a pretty straight shooter, so you don't have to worry about me trying to sell you.
Let them know where they could find you on all social media. You said it before, but let them know right now.
The best place to find me is going to be Instagram. It's at the Realty West. Mm-hmm. I have a doc card in there. I got all my other links in there, ways to find me, other podcasts I've been on, emails, but it starts there.
I've been seeing you on this one podcast. I think it's like called Fireside Chat or something like that. You've been on that one a couple of times, right?
Fireside America.
Fireside America.
That's my what do I call him? He's my redheaded older brother I never knew I wanted.
Oh.
That's Ryan. He's actually my first mentor. I give him all the credit in the world for seeing my potential and just kind of pushing me to jump off the cliff. But he's got a killer podcast.
It looks awesome. Yeah, don't worry
not
about
to steal
that.
the show here.
Yeah, no, but the cat like the it's visually appealing. I'll say that. Like by the fire and everything, it's such a great idea. And I'm assuming that podcast too is talking mostly about real estate and whatnot and investors. And
he's just in business, so he's not in real estate at all. Fireside America is about business and entrepreneurship, freedom. So helping people take that leap, giving business owners a place to spotlight themselves and share the strengths and weaknesses, give their story.
Yeah.
And just help the next guy up the ladder. So turn around and help the next guy. That's really what it's all about. Ryan's a great guy. If you get at my Instagram, you can quickly find him. Whether it's stuff I'm tagged in or stuff I'm posting.
Without a doubt.
I think we're all going places, including you.
Thank you, my man. I have to agree 100%.
Yeah.
100%, my man. All right. Once again, thank you for joining the podcast. And for you guys at home, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions for Trevor as far as real estate or investing or anything of that nature, make sure to hit him up and find them on social media. And follow us on social media as well, at Frank_videos. With all that being said, we hope you have a wonderful night, and peace out. Number one I have is Tropic Thunder.
Yep, number one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, this movie, and you have several black actors and everything being like, no, he did it excellent and everything like that. That's all fine and good. Jamie Foxx has praised him for doing it and everything like that.
By the way.
Oh, yeah, speaking of Jamie Foxx.
Please, man, love and prayers. But Tropic Thunder, is...
right. Listen,
because we just did that.
The moral of the story with Tropic Thunder is Robert Downey Jr., you did a fantastic job in that role. You got some balls to do a role like that. Yeah. Seriously, he had some balls to do a role like that. Did you see that? That could have gone so south if he didn't do a good job.